Hey, this is Lola, but you can call me Lola if you like.
Hi, this is Velisa, and you can call me Vels if you want. And this is the Everybody Hates HR podcast, episode 85. Are you looking to take the next step in your HR career? Get CIPD qualified the no-nonsense way and save 5% with referral code DPG5 when you enroll with top UK distance learning provider, DPG.
For over 30 years, DPG have been committed to providing training excellence with their industry-recognised CIPD qualifications.
Whether you're just starting out or looking to further develop your career in the people profession, DPG offers an innovative, flexible learning approach for the full suite of CIPD HR and L&D qualifications at levels 3, 5 and 7.
Okay, and you can choose to study 100% online or through one of their blended learning courses, which combine online learning with expert-led workshops.
You'll benefit from tutor support every step of the way, as well as 24/7 access to your course materials through DPG's immersive virtual learning platform.
Join the thousands of others who have achieved their career goals with DPG today and enjoy a 5% discount with referral code DPG5 when you enroll within the next 3 months.
Ready to get started?
Yeah.
Upgrade your career at dpglearn.co.uk.
We're really going to do it.
I told you we were going to do it. I did tell you.
We're really going to do it.
I did tell you.
Yeah. God knows what day this episode is going to come out. And I think this will be a Monday or a Tuesday episode.
Yeah.
Can I just say that I really like you in green? I was looking at you earlier and thinking,
really?
Like, what is? I think it's just a color that I like for you. Like,
do you
whenever
know
you
what?
wear green.
Oh, yeah, olive, like
for
khaki.
Me, I can't lie, but yeah, whenever we wear
Thank
green.
you.
And you know what I like when we both wear green?
Yeah, like we did on Black Girls Living.
I was wearing black, but they were wearing green. We all tied together.
Yeah.
I like
Thank
it.
you.
I like it for you.
Yeah, khaki and olive are really my go-tos.
Yeah.
Sometimes like my son's in like the same as me because
that's cute.
Yeah, like
a darker khaki.
Yeah.
Forest green.
Yeah.
Yeah. I should tell you that.
How are you?
Do you know what? Yeah. I got flogged at work today.
Did you?
Like one of the employees of my client. I went into a meeting and I was trying to do good cop. They tore my singlet to shreds. You know, like when I finished, no, they read me for filth.
Really?
It wasn't like, not even in a rude way. Like I literally left thinking, oh, sorry to disturb you. I'm so sorry that I said, you know that my eyes were just open. You know that someone's upset, so you just have to kind of let them talk. But no, they weren't necessarily upset with me, but they were upset with a lot of things. And my eyes were just wide. I just thought, wow, this is what it feels like.
Oh gosh.
He read me for filth. Was it he? He read me for filth.
Poor
like
thing.
It was so in such a corporate way. I said, okay, well, good day, sir. So I just left work and I said, what can I do? I put that behind me and I came here to the studio.
Do you know what? I hear it. Leave it at work.
Honestly. And it's just, I just don't know where this week has gone.
I feel like this week has gone really quickly.
It was a short week.
It was a bank holiday, yeah.
And then and then on Tuesday, obviously, we were together.
Yeah.
So it's really only been like 2 working days so far, but I just feel like the week has just gone.
No, it has.
How can tomorrow be Friday?
Friday, yeah, that came really quickly. September is on Sunday. It came really quickly.
Mate.
Yeah.
I do like September though.
Me too. It's, like another chance of like a new year, new start, fresh start.
I always have that kind of mentality just from like school.
Yeah, exactly. When you get all your new books and pencils, pencil case. We used to love getting a new pencil case.
How long before your pencil case was empty?
Not very long. Not very long. But yeah, like very back to school. And speaking of back to school, this is a very special episode in partnership with DPG Learn. So we will be discussing things like, would we do another qualification? When's the right time to do a qualification? What types of qualifications can you do in relation to
we have?
Yeah, what qualifications we have and our journey to, getting those qualifications, because if you watch the podcast, you know that Lola and I have very different come ups into HR. So yeah. Woo. So I mean my perspective has always been that like
the qualification has to be for a reason. Like all the way since when I went to university. When I went to university, even though it's not ultimately what I ended up doing, I knew I was going, like I had a more vocational mindset. Like I studied accounting and finance, and my whole thing was like, I want to work in accounting and finance. So my mentality hasn't changed since. Like I've always only really done qualifications if they've had a purpose, except GCSEs where I had to do it because obviously my mum would have just flogged me. But since then, like everything, and A levels, but since then everything I've done has just been because I thought it was going to help me move further ahead, and that's still my view when it comes to qualifications.
Yeah. What do you think the benefits have been in you having additional qualifications outside of, you know, the mandatory?
Obviously there's like a running joke, you know, that I like to study.
You do?
I actually don't like to study. I've said it before anyway. I actually don't like to study, but I really like to learn. I love learning. Like I love learning. I love growing. I love that feeling where someone comes to you. You would have had it before where, you know, before you'd be looking around like you didn't know the answer. Then one day someone comes to you, you just say something and you're like, wow, I know stuff.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love when that happens.
Yeah. And then one day you're like, I know a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. And then some of that's from the work, learning on the job. And some of it is, learning from qualifications. Could you have CIPD level 5? Mm-hmm. Would you do it again?
Would I do it again? From a personal development point of view, yes, because at the time when I did my CIPD, I was a HR administrator, so very early on in my career, and I feel like it helped me really understand the fundamentals of HR and what I was doing in a way that wasn't, you know, in a way where I was exposed to the skeletons of HR and understanding why I do what I do in the way that I do it. So I would say that it's good from that perspective. I'd also say the further along I get in my career, it's not really something that I'm asked about, but I think that's because...
But it's there, so you wouldn't
It's there,
know.
yeah. So I don't know for sure because they look at the CV and they just see CIPD qualified and they're like, okay. But I think it definitely has helped me, especially being so new in HR when I was doing it. It just helped to be going, and I did the intense, like, I think it was 5 days, like full days. I can't even remember how many days it was, but it was full days, like classroom days. And it was just really good to do that and then come back into the HR role and do it. And after that, so where I was, my HR director said, if I pass and I do well, I'll get promoted.
So you were going to pass.
So I got promoted. So yeah, it's very helpful. It's helpful. It's just helpful to understand.
Do you know what? Sometimes I feel like some of the people who rate CIPD most are people who are not in HR. And that's like, not because it's not a valuable qualification. I personally studied it because I thought it was going to help me, especially being a career changer.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't come into this thing new and not have the qualification.
Yeah.
Like I was just like, other people who have the work experience versus me who doesn't have the work experience, I need to try and stand out in some way. So I was like, I'm going to go get my CIPD level 5. But it's just one of those things when, like, I'm recruiting for HR roles on behalf of clients, it's always a specification, like the person has to have CIPD.
yeah.
And sometimes I don't even think they know what they're talking about because there's a big difference between CIPD 3, level 3 and CIPD level 7, but they just want CIPD.
That's true.
And obviously I can advise them to be like, okay, at this level, this is what's most important. At this level, this is what's most important. At this level, maybe you don't need it. Maybe, you know, at this level, it'd be most useful. But I definitely think that it does help because it's like a requirement for a lot of roles. Even though I know that there's a lot of roles that you can do in practice without CIPD, for sure. Employers are asking for it.
Yeah.
And I can't deny that for sure.
Yeah, they are. Do you think you did CIPD at the best time?
Yeah.
Yeah. When did you do it?
I did it basically as soon as I got into HR, but at the time I'd already, I was into my career, so I had it. HR, I mean, I had experience, like been working for like 5 years. 5-6 years I'd been working, and I did it then. So even though I was very early into like my HR journey, like literally right at the beginning, I was doing stuff where I needed it. Like for instance, when I got my first disciplinary, that I had to do the first investigation. I had no idea what I was doing. I literally just had to follow the ACAS code of conduct. So I was like, I really have to do this. And so I did it really to let me know why I'm doing things. Like I was always very interested in trying to teach myself, but I have no idea what I'm doing. Like I can learn it and I'm learning it but by myself. But the faster I can learn it and if people can help me and I can actually understand what best practice looks like. And my first HR role, the other thing is my first HR role was a standalone role.
How can your first HR role be a standalone
for
role?
a company with 120 people that never had any HR?
And
it was chaotic. It was so chaotic.
But it's testament to you that they picked someone who wasn't necessarily
because I literally was like, I'll work for very little. Like I was a HR manager, and I went from earning a good amount of money. I think I've spoken about it before, but I was on 60k, and then the job I applied for was 35k, and then I negotiated up to 40. Okay. So I think and the person who hired me used to work in a consultancy, so he definitely had his own bias, which worked in my favor because it's all consultancy. He worked at Accenture, and I was coming from Deloitte.
Okay.
So he was just like, consulting. Oh yeah. You know how it is. I said, okay.
I know how it is.
I didn't even know what he was talking about, but I just said, I was like, I know. But yeah, so for me, I literally had to learn. I needed to know what I was doing and how to do my job. That's why I did it. So it's different. If you have done it since you were like a HR admin and you've seen the process, you'll know how to do the job. But I think sometimes you just won't know why you're doing it.
Exactly that. For me, it was to see why I was doing it. Yeah. Did you pay for it yourself?
No. So when I took the job, that was what I negotiated. So I negotiated to be honest, the pay rise I didn't even negotiate, the 35 to 40. They came to me and said, look, we don't want you to just come and leave. And then I said that it was important that I studied. So then they agreed to pay for it. And I remember I told them it was going to be roughly $3,000. And then when it came, it was like 3,200 or something. And I went and I said, I know we said 3,000. It's come back as 3,200. And I went to my manager, who was the MD. And I was thinking, I'm happy to pay the short. He was just like, it's fine. It's so funny because he was just like, it's 200.
Okay.
And now with my mentality, I'm like, £200 to a company, what's that?
Yeah, exactly.
But I really thought, I really messed this up and I hadn't included the VAT. I don't know, I'd done something. And they were just like, it's fine. So they paid for it. And also, the realist. I didn't, as soon as I got there, I really knew it wasn't going to be the place for me, but I knew I was going to be able to learn lots and just kind of, when no one came before you, everything you do is good. So I knew that I could really add value. But I was just like, I just want to get this over and done as soon as possible. So I think they say it should take like between 14 and 18 months because I did the flexible one and I used to go after work to do it in person. So you do one module a week and I think it takes between like 14 and 18 months. And I did mine in 8. I was like 7 or 8. I went twice a week and I did 2 modules at a time. And I was just like, I just have to get this over and done with because I definitely want out of this place. And I didn't want it to be like, I just wanted the whole thing to be done. I didn't want to still be doing it. Even though they had paid for it up front, I just thought, I know I want to leave this place and I can't get another, I won't be able to get the job I want without this qualification. And I just don't want to be doing it for too long. So I just did it really quickly. And then like literally a month after I finished, I left. And they didn't make me sign a study contract because they never had anyone in HR. And I introduced a study contract.
So after I did my CIPD, I think after I finished in, maybe it was like November of that year or October of that year. And then I left in like less than a year later. They clawed that stuff.
They claw it back?
Yes.
Do you know a lot of companies say they'll claw it back, but they just don't claw it back.
Well, not all of it. They didn't claw all of it back, but I think the study contracting they had in place was if you'd been there, if you leave after 1 month, they take like 80%. So I think they took back maybe like 25-30% of it, but they definitely took it back, and I was like, damn.
Listen, you know what? Yeah. It's fine because obviously like, I get it. Like if I pay for someone to study and then they left in the time, I would get it. But to be honest, I don't even really think it matters. Like even if you get the qualification and then you want to leave where you are, even if they claw back 50%, you got half off.
Yeah, you'll survive. It's fine.
Off.
Yeah. But I'm glad I did it, and I got to put into practice.
So they paid for yours as well.
They paid for mine. Yeah.
I generally would say that if your employer can pay, that's like you should try, because sometimes people are so fast to be like studying CIPD by themselves.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times if you just ask, they will fund it. It's much easier. Like they're more likely to do that than to give you a pay rise, to be honest, because
It's true.
that will actually benefit
Them.
the company. And also there's a lot of companies where they have like, they can put you on like an apprenticeship, but it's like, it's not like your new person apprenticeship. It's like you can be an existing employee and get put in an apprenticeship, and they can use their apprenticeship levy funds to pay. So even then they can find the budget, or there is a certain amount of money that they need to use towards training or like training employees. So I would always say just ask, because you never know.
Always ask. Yeah, definitely. And also don't be like me. So I didn't know for a really long time that your workplace would pay for your CIPD membership once you have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea. So HMRC niced me because I was paying for it myself. I didn't know.
Oh yeah, so you got tax back on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
So don't be like me, guys. Get your...
Yeah, but not all workplaces will pay for it, you know.
But if they don't, HMRC will like offset it basically. Yeah.
Exactly. So you should always ask them. I had I would always expect it to be paid if it's useful in your job. Like I don't expect it then. Like when I moved from finance, I stopped paying my subs for ACCA and CTA, and because I was just like, I can't go and do a HR job and tell them to pay for my ACCA subscription. Didn't make any sense, so I just stopped paying.
Also, because I know some people would have joined listening to the podcast, maybe not from the beginning where we've spoken about this stuff, but what are your qualifications leading up to
I
CIPD?
mean, nothing really to do with CIPD.
What's your degree?
Okay, so I studied accounting and finance, as I said, and I then ended up working at Deloitte. And when I was there, I did my I did ATT, which is like it's a qualification, Association of Tax Technicians.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's like the junior version. So it's like the beginning of the taxes. And then I went on to do CTA, which is like to be a chartered tax advisor, if you want to, like senior kind of tax qualification. That was literally hell. And secretly, while I was at Deloitte, I was studying ACCA because I was already kind of thinking, CTA is too boxy, like it's just tax. So if you want to go and do other things, it's quite niche to do. It's hard and it's niche. So there's really no incentive unless you want to be a tax advisor forever. And when I was at uni, I studied accounting and finance, so I had exemptions. So there's at the time there was 14 papers, but I was exempt from 7 of them because I'd done them at uni. Yeah. So then I just had to do like another 7 papers, and it wasn't. I realised it was really funny because the hardest paper in CTA is the one that everyone fails. The pass rate for CTA is like 30-something to 40-something%. So most people fail it. And the hardest one is the last paper. But basically, I found out that if you finish ACCA, you're exempt from that paper. So I was obviously secretly studying it. I had 4 papers left, and I was supposed to sit my last set of CTA papers. And I basically had to come clean to my employer and say, look, I've been secretly studying these exams. I've been passing, but can I defer my CTA for a year so I can finish my ACCA? And then I won't have to do the last paper. And they was like, oh, we have to think about it. And then they went away, and I was like, yeah. So I basically didn't have to do like some of the papers for both of them. So I did that, and then quite shortly after I was like, I don't really want to do this after all of that. And then I moved I got my first HR role, and then I literally started my first HR job on the 1st of August, and then I started my CIPD on like 1st of September or something.
Oh wow, okay.
So I literally straight away.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the employment law stuff I did employment taxes, so a lot of the law stuff, it was in there anyway, so I knew some of it. But yeah, I did that, and then I waited for a few years. I did nothing between 2018 and 2020, and then 2020 I started my master's, which took 2 years, and that's it. And now I'm studying to be a solicitor.
You're not serious. What's your master's in, Lola?
Funny. My master's in human resource management.
Okay.
Yeah, distinction, and a first class degree in accounting.
Period.
Thank you. Per.
What
about you?
I do not have half of the qualifications.
I don't use half of them, so that's fine.
So I went to uni. I studied history. Yeah, I know, random, but I was really good at history at school, and I did it as an A-level.
What do your parents say about it? They were just, it's uni, so uni.
Do you know what? I don't think they were that bothered, and I was the first one. Well, no, my sister dropped out, so I think just me
just finishing. My brother dropped out as well.
Yeah, just me finishing was
one.
like a,
Yeah.
well done. Like, do you know what I mean? So, and I was good at it. I did history A level as well, so it was just my thing. So I decided to do that, and then while I was still at uni, I've spoken about it before. So I was working at John Lewis on weekends, and then I ended up getting like a summer apprenticeship at an accountancy firm doing HR because my former friend used to work there.
Story for another day.
So that's when I was like, okay, I think I'll do this. And then while I was still at uni, I got a part-time HR admin role, which is where I ended up doing my CIPD.
That's actually very good to be like at uni to have like a serious job for university.
Listen, I was done. Like I was literally at uni doing a disso, working there as HR admin part-time and still working at John Lewis on weekends. Bearing in mind that John Lewis and his part-time HR role are in London and I'm going to university in Canterbury.
That is crazy.
Like my mum always said to me, don't drive on the motorway. I was up and down that motorway. She had no idea in my car.
I can't imagine it. When I was doing my dissertation, I never did one at university when I was in my undergrad because I did accounting and finance, so many exams and a couple of other things. But when I did my dissertation for my master's, I couldn't I was working, but it wasn't my best work. And actually there was a period where the period where I wrote most of my dissertation, I'd handed in my notice and I was, you're on the tail end.
Yeah.
Because I can't imagine really trying to be working 2 jobs and doing dissertation, mate.
Listen,
that meme of the fox on the chair.
Yeah,
that's how I spent most of the time when I was writing.
No, honestly, it was a lot. And I had like broken up with my boyfriend, so I had a lot of energy to give to my education. Woo. But anyway, so
come up
where I was doing part-time HR, they ended up making me permanent when I left uni. And they paid for my CIPD while I was there. I graduated from history. Didn't get first, guys. Got a 2-1, unfortunately.
Okay.
But
it made no difference now.
Yeah, I don't use it. But yeah, got my CIPD qualification, and then haven't really done anything more. But I did a mediation training. So again, if you watch the pod, you know that I'm in employee relations, and mediation training was really important just because I was dealing with a lot of interpersonal conflicts, and where I was working at the time, they saw it as a benefit. So again, I didn't pay for it to get trained on being able to do mediation and negotiation of, like settlements and stuff, but in a way where the person has all communication is broken down.
Yeah. I mean, when I looked at mediation training, so listen, I paid for my master's out of my own pocket, and it's not something I'll be doing again.
Yeah, no.
I just listen. Every time I had to, and it was during COVID, so the teaching, so the first semester, the first whatever was in person. Then after that, it went online, and I was like, what am I really doing here? So paying for that was so painful. But yeah, so I'm at ACCA, but I don't recommend.
I mean,
I don't recommend. 0 out of 10. If you can get someone else to pay for it, please.
Yeah, please. No, I've never paid for qualification apart from my degree, but student loan free.
Yes, love that for you.
So yeah, but that's pretty much me. But would I study anything more? I think I would do my level 7.
Really?
I think I would, just to say that I've got it.
Yeah.
Really and truly, I want to say that I would go for the whole thing, like fellowship and everything, just to have fellow next to my name.
Do you know what? Yeah, does it? Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then, anyway, let me not say that. But yeah, I think I'll eventually do my level 7. I say that, but if I I don't know. No, I think I'll do my level 7 just for me, for my own, to say I did it. I'd do it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I also, in speaking of timing, I think now is a good time to do a level 7 because when I was doing my master's, which is, you get the kind of level 7 equivalent, there were people on it who, fair enough, who wanted to do a master's, but they didn't have it's better if you have senior experience. And they didn't have the senior experience, and it was really sometimes quite hard for them, and they had to adjust the assignments. And there were people doing masters in HR who weren't studying HR, who weren't working in HR, which is fine. But this time in your life where you like have the experience, it'll be so much simpler and not necessarily easier, but there'll be so much more application that you can do. It'll be so much more useful to you. So I'm so glad that I did mine after I worked in HR for a while, and I was doing it while I was in a senior HR role, because it would have been, I was a head of HR at the time when I did it. And I don't know how helpful it would have been or how much value, because I could actually do the assignments. Like there were projects that I was working, like I think you said that with the CIPD, like those projects I was working on where it helped a lot. And it actually made sense. There's so many concepts that I actually learned so much at even my CIPD level 5. Sometimes I've been a bit critical of CIPD because I don't think they teach you everything that you need to know, or a lot of the important things in HR. But a lot of the stuff I learned obviously is fundamental. Like I use it all the time. I use it every day. And in my masters, it was like the modules which were the most useful to me. Like I use the stuff all the time. So it is actually useful, but I just think it could be more commercial, CIPD.
It could be. It's old school, isn't it?
I just think they could teach more commerciality in it. Like, you see, when you're talking about dispute resolution, I think we should do more dispute resolution.
Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah, it's a very important skill to have. And I think in my masters, I had to do a business accounting, basically, for accounting for business or whatever it is. And that I think would be helpful to understand like more of the numbers, because sometimes when I'm working with clients and they have like people in HR, they're making suggestions or proposals, but it doesn't make sense in the wider context of what they're doing. Like that kind of, are you going through a redundancy? Is business trying to grow? That kind of strategy piece is, I guess that is more for level 7. And it definitely is in level 7, but I think there's a baby version of the strategic bit that could be more in level 5.
I hear that. Yeah. I also think people shouldn't be scared of going for the qualifications. I think it can be quite daunting once you've finished whatever it is, whether it's GCSEs, A levels, or a degree. It can be quite daunting to think about working, even if it's not in HR, but working and studying at the same time. Do you have any tips?
Just pick one which is flexible. Like if you pick, like with the modules where when I did my CIPD level 5, for instance, I was just like, I also had some stuff going on in my life, so it was just very easy. Like it wasn't a breakup, but I had some stuff going on where it was I needed a focus, so that was a good time for me just to get my head down and do it. And also I did it over the winter and I didn't go out, so I think I did it between September and like March or April or something. So by the time the sun was out, I'm out too. So I was like, do it the hardest parts in the times where like nothing's really going on. Trying to do heavy learning in the summer. I remember when I was doing my dissertation, I said, okay, I'm going to start it was like July 1st or something. I'm going to start my dissertation because it wasn't due until January. But I've heard all the stories of people doing it at the last minute. I was like, I'm never going to be like them. I'm like them. Yeah. Because that summer I enjoyed. I was so excited. Like, what am I doing my dissertation? That didn't make no sense. Makes no sense. So I was like, if it can be flexible, if you can do flexible study, be realistic about what you can actually, do. Be ready to sacrifice some of your personal time, obviously. But again, depends. Like, if you do something which requires you really only to study like 1 or 2 nights a week, that's very manageable. It's not that deep, it's not that intense. And also don't rush. I've been a victim of rushing in the past. Like, I need to get this done, but for what? There's no reason to rush. What would you say?
I would say the same. Just be dedicated and remember why you're doing it. For me, I knew that if I went home after work to try and study, that wasn't going to happen. I was going to go on my laptop and watch whatever show I wanted to watch. So I used to stay at work.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I used to stay behind and just do my hours there. And then when I was done, I would leave and then I would go home. So that helped me. Also just, I I do genuinely believe you should be in HR when you do your CIPD. So just even finding stuff that will help you, that will make it a little bit easier for you to, you know, do the course. And I would say lean on whoever else is doing CIPD around you. So I think, I don't know, it's been a long time since I've done it, but when I was doing it, we had like a group, it was in person. So we could lean on each other when we were doing the studying and ask each other questions, and everyone's from really different industries at different points in their career. So that was also really helpful. You know, kind of just like the same when you're studying, maybe have someone else look at your work from a different point of view. Hopefully you know someone else in HR as well that you can talk to about these things. That's all really helpful. Yeah.
And timing, actually, like a lot of CIPD is assignments.
Yeah.
So just making sure you give yourself enough time.
Yeah. I think that's it as well, is just give yourself enough time. I remember when it was coming up to the end of my CIPD and I had a loss in my family and it hit me really hard. And I remember thinking, like, can I finish this, like, you know, CIPD? And I had to explain to them what was going on, and they were really, really like understanding and stuff. And I did it. So also, if you need things take a turn or you need some time out, they're pretty good at like accommodating. Yeah.
And I also think, I didn't do this as much as I should have before, but I'm heavy on it now. Like, the tutors, they work for you.
They do.
Like, even at uni.
I loved mine.
Yeah, like even at uni, like there were some people who would go and speak to lecturers to seek out their tutors and stuff like that, because the amount of money we're paying, you better work.
But my tutor at uni was some young man, you know, big up Ollie. Like, he was doing his PhD at the time and he was lecturing. And I remember thinking, you are not that much older than me, like, you know, doing all, so I'm going to make you work. You didn't leave uni. You're still in uni studying.
I didn't do that when I was at uni, but then when I in my masters, I was much better at doing it and being like, especially like with it being remote and everything, I was like, no, like I'm going to get time in, you'll make time for me, I'm going to ask all the questions.
Of course, that's what they're there for.
I'm very heavy on that, not even just with uni. In general, if I'm paying someone now, I'm not doing this, sorry to disturb. Listen, you have questions, use the tutors, use 100%. The resources, ask additional, like you're not bothering anybody, like, and there's probably somebody else who has asked the same question. The tutor is probably very happy to help you. So I would say use the resources, not just your network, but also the tutors. Email 100%. Them.
I agree. Yeah. I did with my tutor all the time.
I never used to do it, but
oh no, she's great.
I have a complex now. Anyone who works for me, not in my company, but like service providers. Like I was speaking to a lawyer the other day who was doing some work for me, and he said something that I didn't like, and I just said, I really don't like that, and you know, if we're going to be working together, blah blah blah. And yeah, he was, oh yeah, apologies, because you work for me, like you're supposed to be supporting me. I'm paying you.
It's not the other way around.
It's not the other way around. So yeah, I'm very heavy on that. And most tutors, they're just like, they love it. They
do.
And you know what I find that CIPD tutors, all the professional qualifications that I've done is versus academic tutors, they're not the same.
They're not the same.
Academic tutors kind of act like you're bothering them sometimes, or they have a different. The people who teach CIPD and stuff, I really believe, like from my experience, they're so much more passionate. Like they're so much more interested in being there. Like I had a tutor before called Marco Van Dyke. I want to say, big up Marco, man. He was so like. He was just so keen. Like, you know when someone just loves it. He had long hair. It was given Benaya.
Oh, not Benaya.
Yeah, it was given Love is Blind Benaya. And he was like, even when we did some of the stuff around like family friendly policies, he was saying that he had taken shared parental leave and when it was really new. And it just made the subject come alive. And big up Marco, man. Big up yourself.
I can't lie, I don't remember my tutor's name.
I only remember Marco, and I remember him for a reason.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about from my CIPD level 5.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man. Marco was a real one. And when you have to see someone twice a week, they better be a real one.
No, it's true. It's true. I liked the group I had. They were a really good group. I remember someone worked for MI6.
Should they tell you that? Are they allowed to tell you that? They must
Isn't
have
it
been like
MI5 you're not allowed to say?
I don't know.
But yeah, it was... Anyway.
They let them assassinate you.
But yeah, it was just an interesting group of people at all different levels, and I really appreciated hearing their perspectives on HR, and like we'd all have lunch together and stuff.
Cute.
And yeah, it was just really good because I feel like you don't often get that opportunity unless you put yourself out there. But I feel like when you're all doing CIPD together, you're almost in a vulnerable position where you're all learning and trying to get the same thing. So people are a little bit more open to having conversations about experience. So I feel like the CIPD in general is just it's a rewarding journey, like what you go through to get the qualification and then getting it afterwards. And I think do you know what else as well, which I think is really key with CIPD? Well, for me anyway, after I did it, I had a new level of confidence. So yes, I had a bit of HR experience, but that CIPD made me a lot more confident going forward in my role at the time. So I think it's a good thing to do for that too.
I think so. My issue, you're not getting me in trouble, but my issue is with CIPD itself. I just feel like
Lola, don't be
no. Let me speak. Listen. Let me speak my truth.
Okay.
My thing is, obviously I've been a member of a number of professional bodies, 4 different professional bodies I've been in. Soon I'll be joining the SRA. And I just feel like there can be more member benefits. Yeah. And I'm someone who really is like, if I'm paying, I want to know where my money's going. Obviously it goes to pay people and all of that stuff. But I just think that there could be more member benefits.
Yeah, but do you know what? I agree.
The events are all a bit...
I agree.
Let us do one.
Don't they work with... Is it Perkbox they work with? For like those sorts of benefits as well?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's Perkbox. I need to double check.
Yeah, no, I just feel like there could be more interesting things. Like, so yeah, you get your employment law update.
Yeah.
And they have their events, but their events never really speak to me.
To be fair, and I'm obviously going to be biased, but I've done a few panels for CIPD, and when I'm on
I wasn't there.
Yeah,
I'm sure they were lit.
Yeah, well, honestly, when I'm on it, like, it's a time. I'm telling you, like, my panels were great. They're on YouTube actually. If you
really,
if you type my name in, it should come up on YouTube. Like some of them, anyway.
Yeah.
You're
the CIPD version of my ICAW. I do so much work with the Institute of Chartered Accountants of England and Wales. It just sounds so niche, but I love them, and I love working. Obviously, I used to work in that field. I love working with accountants. I love working with accounting and all that stuff. It's really good. But yeah, I do stuff like that for them, and I love doing everything.
I enjoy it. I was going hard during lockdown because it was at the peak of Black in HR. So it was great.
I don't want to ask you what's going on with Black in HR.
Not on air.
Oh my god. Anyway, we're gonna put out a mini like 1 minute thing because we haven't even mentioned the show.
No, we haven't.
We are having a live show.
Woo! We're having a live show.
And we announced it today. So today is Thursday, whatever the day is, and tickets are
already selling.
Hotcakes.
Yeah. So
we have to put a mini version out, which will come out today.
Okay. But if you're in London, even if you're not in London, take the train down. Come and see us. Come and network. Join us.
It's going to be so fun.
Yeah.
Food.
Everything. We can't wait
drink,
to see you.
Fun. Giveaways. Us. You.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be so fun. I'm so excited.
Yeah. Please get a ticket.
Yeah.
Before they sell out. If they sell out, that's not my problem.
No, but you know what? Yeah, I said the reason I'm saying that we have to put it on the podcast, that there'll be, by the time you listen to this, you should have already heard like a 1 minute video of me and Velisa talking, because I feel like it'll be really bad if we post it on socials, and then the people who are not on social media but listen to the podcast every week don't know about it before the tickets sell out.
So we should put one out today.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair.
Yeah. So we got you guys. Don't worry.
Thanks. But yeah, I think this has been a really good episode, actually. It's been a while since we've done this. So I hope that people listening to this in the month of September who want to do CIPD, use the DPG.
Oh, yeah, we've got a discount code.
Yeah, use the DPG Learn discount code.
And tell us that you've done it. I want to know.
DPG5, remember. So use it. Get your CIPD qualification. Let us know how you're finding doing your CIPD qualification. Only if you use the discount code. If not, then
can still tell us. Just would have missed out. Guys, I'm going to bring this to the podcast. I have recently discovered a special talent that Velisa has. And I really think that Velisa would be really good as a voiceover artist.
And listen, this is not my voiceover voice, by the way, right now. I have a voiceover voice and I'm ready. So if you catch me on the university,
I think she could be a really good voiceover for like the Open University, Birkbeck.
Anyone looking for that diverse tone, you know?
Yeah. No, I genuinely think it.
I believe I'm the Tony Braxton of
I'm
voiceovers.
getting to do the one for my company.
Exactly. Like, it's not even a joke, because I feel like people are like, no, it's serious.
No one takes it as a joke. It's just you. It's just you.
My voiceover voice is actually, it's lit. Yeah. So
I really
any
love
tips, then, you know, talk to my manager.
I'm Velisa's manager. Yeah.
See what I mean? That's why I'm saying people won't take me seriously, but that's actually my manager.
I'm also going to be a manager.
It's not even a joke.
I'm also going to be a manager.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Sorry, last thing. Really random. I love working with you.
Oh,
I really love it. I just feel like we work so well together. Like we're so different, but we really just like, it just really makes sense.
It does.
And we have such different skills and talent.
It's hilarious.
It's
really.
so good. It really is. We have our own lanes. And
We do.
and when we try to cross, sometimes we have to cross. But most of the time, let's stay in our own lanes. I love that.
Oh, no,
I just think it works.
Sweet.
Like, and this is why it's important to have different people in a team.
That's true.
Because imagine if there was two of me, this place would be it would be chaos.
It would be.
It'd be if there were two of you, it'd be less chaotic, but it would still be.
Not lots would happen.
If you could see like the chat that I have with Velisa, you guys would be afraid. You think I'm mad. You think I'm mad.
Oh my god!
But you get me.
Yeah, no, I do. It works. We understand each other, so it's fine. It's fine. But I feel like I'm trying a bit more to like see how I've been voice noting you now.
Huh?
I've been
yeah. Because basically, I think we mentioned it before, but basically, I can say, and also I've been sending less messages.
Have you?
Yeah, I have.
That is a lie.
Do you know what? Yeah,
that is not true.
Don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. Because if I sent you all the messages that were in my head, you would never be able to respond to them.
Lola, you're not sending less messages.
I am sending less messages.
No, you're not.
Okay, I'm waiting for you to respond to some of them then.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, but you're not sending
But I promise you, Velisa, you don't even know how hard it's been for me.
That's why I said we were together earlier this week, and I said to Lola, I said, this is your opportunity to just get everything off your chest. And I feel like she didn't even take the opportunity with both hands,
because it doesn't come to me like that. I'm more of an artist, you know. I'm an artiste.
Okay.
It's just like it's a creative process.
Fair.
The ideas that just come to
the
me.
thing is,
but
with
now
Lola, they could come at any time. I could receive a message at 7:30 in the morning or 7:30 in the evening. That it doesn't actually matter.
11.
Literally.
Or anything. The other day I went on live without Velisa for the first time, and I read this case about this thing that we posted on TikTok about this Boots guy who basically won some money. Some pharmacist at Boots won some money because they discriminated against him. And I read the case summary, and I was like, it was Friday. My plans got cancelled. I had no one to talk to about this case summary, and I was so desperate to talk about it that I went on TikTok live.
Literally. Well, I was asleep, by the way. I was actually fast asleep. I had no idea what was going on.
I went on TikTok live to talk about this guy. And do you know what? Shout out to people that were in the live talking to me about and entertaining me while I did it. Sometimes that's how my brain works.
Literally, I was fast asleep. But I think people that listen to the pod understand us. So
they do. But yeah, see you with the live show. See you next week. All that good stuff.
That's a wrap, guys. Bye.